Be telling you about the Manene Festival of the Torajan people of Sulawesi, Indonesia. Manene means ceremony of cleaning corpses. I chose to do this with images on a PowerPoint so you could really get the gist of this cultural ceremony. Here we see some of the people and landscape of Sulawesi. The two pictures on the left show them dressed in traditional garb for ceremonies. And look at how adorable those kids are. What we often think about when we hear Indonesia. We hear about major earthquakes in Indonesia frequently, since it is in the Ring of Fire. Just this last October, Sulawesi was devastated by a 7.4 earthquake. As often happens in this part of the world, the earthquakes trigger massive tsunamis. The death tolls of these natural disasters reach into the hundreds of thousands. Indonesia is also a major travel destination with between 10 and 15 million visitors a year. It is a stunning part of the world. Indonesia is located just north of Australia. The part of Indonesia we will be discussing is highlighted with the yellow star on the map on the right. Here we see a breakdown of the religions in Indonesia. The reason I included this is because the people of Sulawesi are a majority Christian, which is included in the small blue other and the green pie chart slice. Though the majority of Torajans are Christian, they have merged many of their traditional cultural and religious practices into their Christian beliefs. The traditional religion and customs is called Aluk Tudolo, or the Way of the Ancestors. The Manene Festival is believed to have started when, over a century ago, a hunter named Pong Ramasek found a rotting corpse in the mountains and dressed it in his own clothes and gave it a proper burial. He then began to experience extreme good fortune and believed this was a result of taking care of the dead body he had found. This ritual then became a part of the Torajan people's culture. They believed if they took care of the bodies of the dead, that they would experience that good fortune too. And here we just see a beginning sample of what they do. This is obviously a person that has passed away some time ago, and he is still honoring it. When someone dies, they are celebrated often for weeks. They feel that to honor the dead, they need to have an extensive ceremony and send-off called puaya. This ceremony begins with the sacrifices of buffaloes, bulls, and pigs. The horns are used to decorate the dead person's home. The more horns, the more respected the person was. It is not uncommon for people to save money their entire lives or go into big debt for an elaborate burial. They are not actually considered dead to the Torajans when they die. They are called the sick or asleep until they are actually buried. After the ceremony, the bodies are placed in crypts in the mountains with a tau, which is a wooden statue that guards the body until the Manene takes place. Even before the Manene takes place, they believe, like Christians do, that their spirits have gone on to heaven. Their spirit doesn't die, it lives on. In the Torajan culture, you are not considered single again until you have performed the Manene ceremony on your deceased spouse. This traditionally happens every 3 years after the rice harvest. So if your spouse dies right after a Manene has taken place, you could still be considered married for 3 years. If they die 6 months before the next harvest, you can be considered single in 6 months. This ceremony is not only performed with spouses, though. It includes siblings, people's children, people's parents, and other villagers. For the good luck, everybody is respected and maintained forever. The bodies are to continue being taken care of even when they are just skeletons, or it is believed a disaster will come. To most of us, especially Americans, this is unfathomable. We only see people's bodies dressed up with makeup and fresh from the refrigerator. I find this custom very interesting from a logical point of view, but gross and heartbreaking from an emotional point of view.